Lead Time is a weekly dose of leadership insights and interviews from Tim Allman and Jake Bessling. Lead Time is for any leader living in a busy world looking to be inspired, equipped, and empowered to lead others to their fullest potential. This is Lead Time.
Welcome to Lead Time. Tim Allman here, Jake Bessling. It is a great day. Jake is hydrated. I'm feeling good, alive and well. We believe that eternities are changed when a leader chooses to grow. You are making that investment today, and we pray it pays off. We know it will when a guy like Rick McClellan shows up and the Holy Spirit just shows up. And we're going to be talking today. You know him as the executive director at La Mesa Resource Center. We're talking about offering a hand up to God's people. We want God. This is what he does. He comes down, he descends to us, and he pulls us. He calls us to be his own. And it's a beautiful, beautiful journey when he pulls us up into his arms and makes us his own. So welcome for the third time, Rick McClellan, to Lead Time. Yeah, baby.
All right, my pleasure.
And we're going to give
so
it
excited,
to you.
It's
take it away, man.
It's a thrill, it's beyond. So, a lot of people understand and heard about La Mesa, but then again, I don't know that everybody really knows how this all came about. So, Tim, would you mind telling everybody how the Spirit kind of led you through words and action and to come up with this La Mesa Ministry concept?
Yeah. So the short story is, I was a part of it in Colorado for 5+ years and came here. We changed culture. The Spirit changes culture by starting new things, especially going after to learn from and love those whom Jesus loves, those who may be on the margins of society, to love them. And then you had a great partner like Jake, who was in the cross-cultural ministry program at the time, was called to start something new to reach a people group that was not being reached at the time. So our heart was to reach the working poor and homeless. That had been a lot of the mission in Colorado as well, and then also to include Hispanic families, Latino families from our community. And so really Jake took some trips out to Colorado to take a look at the table, came back here. He built a guiding coalition of people who had the same heartbeat, and it was amazing. Within really 6 months of me getting here, we have the vision. We're running like we're doing, East Mesa campus right now. We're running like test Tuesdays to kind of figure it out, build the team, build the momentum, build the partnerships, all of that. And then Jesus just kind of took it and multiplied it in just such a beautiful way. And last thing before I give it to Jake is, I've said it before, but it is the heart and core. La Mesa, care for the other, care for those who are different. It is the heart and core of the culture here at Christ Greenfield. Change comes from the fringes. Any sort of institution that's kind of stuck. Change comes from those who are on the fringes doing new things. So this new thing influenced, and the culture of love and care and generosity for all people now is what defines Christ Greenfield as a community. So totally the heart and center of this mission, and you have taken it to another level, Rick, and Jesus is doing awesome things. Anything to add to that narrative there, Jake?
I think because a lot of you might be leading churches and nonprofits, but let's say churches and leaders, and you've turned inward, this is the chance to turn outward. And one of the cultural change movements that happened, one of the ways that happened was opening up the scriptures and Jesus and his heart for the working poor, the homeless, all nations, all languages, all tribes. And so to ask the Lord and pray, could you make a space that would be very diverse and reach the needs of people, and that all would be welcome and all would be equal. And so just use that from the pulpit. We have the flexibility to craft our sermons in a collaborative writing, and also to make our own sermon pericopes, meaning what are the texts going to be. Lean into that to be able to speak from the heart of what Jesus was doing, who was he hanging out with, and then sending people out, and build it as a team. I mean, just to cast that vision wide and see who in the house, the leaders are in the house that you need, they'll show up. Rick and Lori had a dream of opening a Praises Cafe, and it's really similar to what we're doing now, but a tweak different, a little adaptability there. And they came out of hearing about the heart of Jesus and that was for the working poor and homeless. They already knew that. But they hadn't necessarily heard it, honestly, I don't think, from the pulpit in that way, from the leaders of their church in that way. And their hearts, their dreams that happened years previous to this, then united with the scriptures and the leaders of the church, and then we had a conversation. And now, Rick, you are leading in incredible ways at La Mesa Resource Center. So,
yeah, it's just amazing what God is doing. This is His ministry. He helped, He told you to go plant the seed, and the seed was definitely planted. Jake, we looked at you sort of like as Joshua leading us across the Jordan River. We didn't know where we were going. We didn't know. None of us knew what we were doing. And it was interesting. Yet we were nervous how it was going to turn out. And we thank you for your leadership. For many years,
I didn't know what I was doing either.
Well, yeah, but for many years you were La Mesa.
Be strong and courageous.
If no Jake, it was like, how are we going to do La Mesa? So,
and now, no Jake hardly.
They don't even know how to spell your name.
It's so incredible.
Yeah, but Jeff Nedry, my wife Lori, and myself, we were all invited by yourself to join in a entrepreneurial program for starting new ministries called 5-2, and we are just so honored and blessed that we were able to do that, because it's absolutely a foundation for what we're doing, to know how to do a ministry, how to do it right, and how to focus on who we're serving. Serving.
We believe in the partnership of 5-2. Bill Woolsey is the executive director out of Texas. And would you give him a 30-second snapshot about what 5-2 really did, or what it is, to move La Mesa to the next step?
Well, it's a series of meetings. We first started, it was called like an incubator. It was like a 3-day seminar, and we took off to Houston, your hometown, and they kind of just walked us through, what is it you want to do? What's your dream? Let's pull it apart. Let's dissect it. Let's separate it. Let's focus in on one dream, and let's figure out how you can do this strategically. And then 6 months later, we went to another 1-day seminar in Orlando. And it's just a 2-year project. Every 6 months, we would go to one of these seminars. And then on top of that, we have this fantastic coach, Larry Rates, that just is amazing with his knowledge and expertise in the ministry on guiding us on a monthly basis on how to operate.
So I want to draw one thing out of the story with 5-2. Remember when we did the Shark Tank time? So at the end of the 2-day, we would get in front of our peers, and someone would have to pitch the dream to people, and then they'd kind of pick it apart. Who did we pick to make our pitch, Rick?
Well, Jeff Nedry and Lori.
And Lori, right. And so Jeff was like the tactics, a little bit more of the strategy. And Lori, if you know Lori, all heart, like stories,
Amen.
And tears. And it's just like, oh my goodness, just ripping out your gut, and Jesus is pouring the Spirit in. It was really, really powerful. So shout out to 5-2. Bill, you are doing an awesome job. I pray you can share this podcast to continue to increase your ministry and influence, because we believe, again, change comes from the fringes, and we need a lot of entrepreneurial, business-minded, executive-type leaders that are taking the next step to see kingdom expansion happen. So tell us, La Mesa Resource Center is up and at 'em today. And I think a lot of people don't even know, if you're in our community, what is exactly going on there, the amount of people and lives that are being changed. So tell us some stories, a little bit of the what, but then the change is taking place, stories.
Right. Before I do that, I do want to throw a plug in. Lori is going to be a keynote speaker at the National Conference for 5-2 in Michigan.
Woo!
So
Lori,
we are super excited about that. So thanks. Wanted to throw that
Way
out
to go,
there.
Lori.
Had a chance. Anyway, we didn't know what we wanted to do. We just knew we needed to do something. So having the time to speak with those, creating relationships, hearing their stories, they pretty much told us what they needed. And that's what we've been running with. They said, we can get food, we can get clothes. There's not a problem with that, but we can't, if we're trying to get a job, we don't have any place to take a daily shower. We don't have any place to do our laundry, or, we can't push our grocery cart to work with us, or take our Or backpacks.
Pausing right there. Just a key to you, leader, is that when you think you know about millennials, they're all like this. Do you really know them? Have you surveyed them? Have you talked to real millennials? For us with the homeless, have you sat with them? Have you spent time with them? Have you watched them? Have you listened to them? And so this is just a beautiful part, because I think a lot of new starts get hung up here. They think they know their product, they think they know their audience, and they really don't. And so it's pivotal to really know your audience. Spend that time. Continue.
Right. So that's what we do, but we don't do it for the masses. We're only here to provide a hand up for those that want to make a change in their life. So if they come to the Resource Center, and it's so pivotal, you have to understand that the most important part of this Resource Center is Tuesday night. If we weren't there creating relationships and showing the love of Jesus on the men and women and families that show up, we would be just like any other Resource Center in the valley, just blah, 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 and
no offense to the other reason,
the results aren't that good. So, but it's now they're being loved on, and they're actually coming to us saying,
There's a process.
you know what, I think I'm ready. I'm ready. Now, in order to know that they're ready, we have an awesome individual by the name of Sandy Griffin.
Yes.
She is our
Dynamo.
life coach. She is a professional life coach. And what she does is she interviews everybody that says, hey, I need a hand up. Well, she interviews them to find out, do you really want a hand up, or are you looking for a handout? So once she makes that determination, then she gets with me and she'll say, okay, this individual needs help with employment. So if we know that, then we hook them up with our employment specialist, which is St. Joseph the Worker. Her name is Paula Bloomquist. So we'll do that, and then if they're homeless and they actually do get employed, then we'll hook them up with daily showers, taking care of their laundry, and storing their belongings if in fact they need it. But that's once they get employed and they're starting to make a change. So if they need housing, then they'll get with their housing specialist. That'd be me.
Yeah.
I have a little experience in that. But also we have another blessing. We have a financial coach by the name of Greg Borwinkle. Now, what Greg is doing is if they really want housing and they have a job, they need to meet with Greg on a regular basis. We set up like a 6-week program so they can figure out how to manage this money now that they're making, to figure out if they can afford and when they can afford apartment. So I look for an apartment I know they can afford based on their income, and then Greg makes sure that they know how to pay for that apartment.
Wow.
So that's all about, and if they complete the program, we'll give them a little certificate that they completed it, and then we'll assist them with some of their move-in costs.
So
not
how many?
All of it,
Yeah.
but a portion of it.
So people, especially when you're talking to investors and they want to know impact and all these types of things, and I think a lot of not-for-profits get really hung up on, we've served X amount of, thousands of meals and all that, and we can definitely talk about that. But Rick, how many folks are currently in the program, and how many have graduated from the program, La Mesa Resource Center?
Well, it is still relatively new.
It is.
And I have to tell you that we don't get a lot of people. We only get maybe 10 to 15 a week.
Yeah.
And they don't all come in there for the same reason. But nobody yet has actually graduated from the financial classes.
Greg's working hard.
Greg, he's working hard. And with this type of individual, they got all kinds of reasons why they don't show up, or they don't feel like it, or whatever. So it's one of these things we really got to work on their self-esteem, their confidence, and help set their goal for them, and not get all frustrated when they don't show up. So it's kind of a work in progress. So we probably have got 30 or 40 people in our portfolio that we're working with in different stages. Some people, just to get a job, they need some glasses. They're very capable. They're very capable of working, but they can't see. So we've been blessed. We have some gift certificates to where they can get an eye exam and free glasses. And we get them their glasses, and next thing you know, they're off and working, and they're still coming to La Mesa. Some of them just need a free phone so that they can have their employer call them, and we help them with that. Currently, let me get into some of the individuals we're actually helping. One individual, he's been coming to La Mesa. He's blind, and he has some mental conditions. But he's housed. He's not homeless, but he's trying to get out of the current situation he's in because it's just not healthy. It's not safe. So we're working with him on some Alltech applications, which is an Arizona long-term care package for assisted living. Not sure if he's going to get it, but we're trying that, and then we're going to Plan B, and we're going to work with him until we get him taken care of. So he just loves La Mesa. I don't know if you've seen him. He's got his white cane, and he gets across the country club and off and running he goes. So he's somebody that we're working with. Everybody I think that's ever been to La Mesa knows one of our originals. That's Kenny.
Kenny, 34 years.
34 years on the street. And God bless him, he got too many tickets with the city of Mesa, and they put him, which is good, because I'm going to tell you, he was in community court, and what community court does, rather than make him pay the fines, would you like some services? How about if we help you get housed? He said, really? He said,
it took him that long?
Yeah, it took him that long. So it took him about a year, but he got a voucher for an apartment. So he's now living in Phoenix. And once he got that apartment, La Mesa stepped in with all of the people that love on Kenny and we provided him all his household items. We got him a nice queen-size bed and the bedding and a couch with recliners and a microwave and all that stuff. And that was all provided by the men and women who support and volunteer at La Mesa. Now, that's all great and it's all wonderful, but the best thing we can do for Kenny is to continue to love on him and visit him and see how he's doing, making sure he survives. He feels like he's in a culture shock. He rarely sleeps on that nice bed because he doesn't know how to sleep on a bed.
On the floor then? Or?
Yeah,
Wow.
He throws some blankets out and sleeps on the floor. So
it's culture shock.
It's culture shock.
Every day, 34 years. If you knew Kenny, I mean, you could just see dirt all over his body. But the passion of Jesus when he would be when he is in worship, he's just getting into it, and he just loves Jesus and loves people and loves to hug. And he smells. Smells really.
But not anymore.
He's really strong.
Not
Jesus.
anymore. He's nice and clean.
It's crazy to see the transformation.
We got him a free phone. We found a place where he can get his laundry done for free on Wednesdays. There's a place called Social Spin. It's like a half a block away from where he lives. And then we showed him where he can get his food with his food card. So he's pretty much all set, but we got to continue to bring him to La Mesa. We got to continue to love on him. And if anybody wants to go visit Kenny, he would just love to have a visit.
Tell us Art's story.
I'm going to tell you. Art is the story of a true hand up. You know, when we were doing this, we thought we had to take them all the way up to the top of that mountain. We thought we had to put their foot in this rock and put the other foot and tell them to grab here, and that's not the case. You know, Art started coming to La Mesa. He was 90 days sober. He's been going to AA, and he had made a commitment to the Lord that if he stayed sober, if the Lord would help him out of this pit. But he's a Native American. He's in his 50s. He's lost everything because of his alcohol. He's been an alcoholic most all of his life. His family wanted nothing to do with him. He lost his kids. He lost everything. So we started to love on him, and he started to share his story. And we were able to work with him on getting a job. In fact, we worked with him so much on getting a job, we actually went and sat in the interview room with the employer, and they were asking us questions about his character and who he was. So he got that job, and it was a manufacturing job, but it was a very hard job. He was experienced. He knew how to do it, and that job didn't last. But while he was working, he was able to take free showers. We set him up with that. We took care of his laundry, and we stored some of his items, even though he had his own storage facility. We then found out that he left that job. It was too hard for him. But in the interim, while he was doing that, he went. There's a nonprofit called Other Side Ministry, and what they do is they provide culinary classes for the homeless.
That's cool.
To teach them a trade. So we talked to Art about that, and Art said, "Yeah, I'll take those classes." So he actually graduated, came to La Mesa. We gave him a celebration. He gave testimony about what it did for him, and after he left that job, that manufacturing job, he actually went into the restaurant business. But he was so thankful for what God was doing and for the love that we had showed him at La Mesa. He still wanted to serve his Lord, and he wanted to do that on the weekend. So here's this guy, homeless, and he is helping to make food and serve food at one of the local ministries in Mesa. So a homeless person is actually serving food to the homeless. So
that is awesome.
And with that, he said, I still can do more. So he went to his Native American church called Sacred Ground. It's actually a Lutheran church. It's in Mesa. And he talked to them, how could I serve? Well, because of his commitment on being sober and his dedication to his Lord and Savior, they put him on full time. He is now a staff member, and they actually got him a house where he's now living in a house. He has reached the top of his mountain, and all we did is help him get over that little rock that he just couldn't get a hold. He couldn't get around it. And once he got around that, he made it to the top. His kids are now communicating with him. He is so close to full.
His life is totally transformed.
Right, and it's all about relationships and giving them the confidence and helping him over that one small issue.
So what La Mesa does is invites you out of your small, don't be too offended, though I can be kind of offended with your small view of life. It's all about me, taking care of mine, meeting these needs, climbing the corporate ladder, doing the church thing. What La Mesa and other ministries like it that serve different types of people that you normally wouldn't associate with. You see Jesus there and your spirit grows. You're hearing from Rick right now this passion to just give his life away. Like, you don't really care. We haven't even talked about like money or 401ks or like future kind of stuff. I mean, all that stuff. Jesus has shaped you. He's molded you through your season. Go back and listen to some of Rick's story and some other podcasts. But he molded you for that life to then give you life to the full, which is found in really living into your passion. So what is your passion that leads you to give your life away to bless other people, especially those who are different? When you choose to walk down that path, leader, follower of Jesus, you will see Jesus there. And he will open up your eyes and give you more peace, more hope, more passion than anything you can possibly imagine. So thank you for influencing us in that way today.
Leader, from my perspective too, just hearing this story, what was touching for me is that, that little rock. I mean, it's like this ripple effect that you just started with that one hopeful hand up. When Art had seen people push him away, I can't talk to you, I can't deal with this, that you spent that little time. I mean, think about that one moment that could change someone's life forever, that you just spent a little time of showing the unconditional love of Jesus. It changed. Thank you for helping be a vessel to change Art's life forever. If you're a leader out there listening to, and you're like, how would I really start new things to reach new people, and I could never do what these guys are doing, think about all the partnership language you've heard so far. Tell us about like how many partners now do we have? I mean, upwards of 10 probably. 20.
Yes, it's all
There's
about one
assets and gifts in the community. They weren't doing what we're doing, but we're also not totally doing what they're doing. And so as they communicate with each other, they can work together. But I love how you're leveraging partnerships and people that are doing similar things in the community for the glory of God.
And there's one little differentiator that helps the whole, the collective whole, all the partners thrive. And the one differentiator, well, maybe two, but right up front, it's Jesus and worship. There's places for meal, but then it's Jesus and the transformative power of word and sacrament that gives people hope and a future. And then it's saying, okay, based out of that hour or two a week, Tuesday nights, we can go deeper. We can go deeper with a few, and momentum is starting to build. So thank you so much for going on that journey. What is one last word of encouragement that you would give to people that are on the fence from stepping into that uncomfortable space of loving and learning from those who are different?
Well, you can't learn to walk on water, as they say, unless you get out of the boat.
Yep.
So you really need to get out of the boat and start doing it. I mean, if you have the inclination, go with what the Spirit's telling you to do, and don't run from it, because I thought I was running from it, and the Spirit would just keep getting louder and louder, and I couldn't ignore it. And here I am, and I'm so blessed. I'm so honored to be a servant doing what the Lord wants me to do, that It's just amazing what he's doing for those.
So you've heard kids in the background. We've got cafeteria time, lunchtime starting right now. But I'm even thinking, as you hear the kids in the background, how are we shaping the next generation of Jesus followers? Are they little consumers of the mission, or are they actually partners and doers of the mission?
Yeah, and there's a good book, Disunity in Christ, and it's talking about how we unify. And the author is just talking about that we need to expose our children actually to not just homogeneous life, but different cultures, different realities, different ages, different socioeconomics. And so if you are a part of this local East Valley Phoenix community, come on out on Tuesday nights to La Mesa. Also check out LaMesaMinistries.org. Here it is right here. And it says a hope happens here. And we know you've experienced that through this podcast. That's what people experience on Tuesday nights and stuff. But Rick, we would love to see people help fund this ministry wherever you are around the country or the world, and you hear this story. Thanks for watching this podcast. Where are we headed as a ministry, La Mesa Resource Center and ministry? Where are we headed? What are our dreams, aspiration? What do we sense God doing? And then how could people help be a part of this grander vision for God and the homeless and the friends and the lower socioeconomic friends to get a hand up and have life change happen right here in Mesa, Arizona?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because currently we're operating at First Christian, which is 805 North Country Club. We have a small office, a little bit smaller than the room we're in right here, but God's doing amazing things with small things. So we are happy to be there, and we are making an impact. But in 2020, we're looking at expanding La Mesa into Tempe with Tempe Table. It's going to actually duplicate La Mesa, but it's going to be on a Thursday. And currently Jeff Nedry, who's the director of our ministry, is working with Gethsemane Lutheran, Pastor Schmidt over there, I believe. And there's another local church, community church, that also has an interest, and they're going to be working together to find a location to get this thing started. We're hoping to sometime at the end of second quarter, sometime maybe in the third, to actually have some semblance of a Tempe Table.
You see my eyebrows raised because these are new things.
Yes.
I'm so happy for me to hear, actually, of the dream to expand, to multiply.
And then next after that, we're going to be in search of an actual more permanent facility that'll be larger, that will actually be able to do a lot more things, offer a lot more resources. And we're probably going to try to locate that somewhere between La Mesa and Tempe Table, so that it'll be easy for those in attendance to go to that facility. And even beyond that, we're still looking and got our sights on East Mesa and Chandler.
Yeah.
And I think we're actually going to try to get a total of 5 of these going. And then way far in the future, we're looking right now, setting the groundwork with Mesa United Way and some of the major players in the community about putting together a tiny house community, so that the people that graduate, like from Teen Challenge, the people that come through the program can actually work and live in these tiny houses. They're transitional housing. It's not permanent housing. It's to get them off the streets and to help them get back into society. And that's something else that we're looking down the road to do. And who knows, we might even open up a restaurant.
Praises.
Amen.
Speed of the leader, speed of the team, and he just drops that vision bomb on us. Like, no, we got this, we got this, we got this, we got this. And that pulls the whole ministry along. It really does. Because you're not going to get there. We got to iterate right here. We're going to have small little tests to continue to grow and refine, and then we're going to be at this place, we're going to be at this place, and it's going to be amazing to see the cultural change, the individual, the then community change we can bring about through La Mesa Ministries. I love your heart. I love your passion. You are inspiring.
Thank you.
Rick McClellan. And it's an honor to be a partner. One leader, I'm one leader, you're a leader, amongst hundreds of leaders here at Christ Greenfield and beyond, seeking to make a huge kingdom impact.
And if you're a leader out there and you're like, man, I don't really have a vision. I mean, get a vision, get a team together and brainstorm and pray and seek the Lord and say, what do you want us to do in this local community? Because there might be people, honestly, that have a grander vision for your church or your ministry than you do. And at that point, it's okay if you bring them along, and you're not a natural vision caster. I'm not a natural, I'm not thinking about all these visions necessarily. That's Tim, and I've learned from that. But maybe you're like, I'm not that. Well, bring other people along as you lead and cast that vision together and dream as a team. But as we close here, Rick, there might be people listening like, man, I haven't even heard of a ministry like this before, and it's rocked my world. Maybe I want to visit. I want to check it out. Come on out Tuesday nights. We'd love to give you a tour, show you how to start something like this. But you might also say, you know what, I feel led to donate toward this. So what would you say to those that might be thinking, maybe I'm not sure yet, should I donate? Let's end with that.
Well, first I would say thank you, if in fact you are considering. But I think your heart will be led to donate if you at least show up one time and watch the Spirit and watch how God is moving in the hearts of the men and women who serve and who attend. It's absolutely amazing. And if you would really like to donate, please go to our website, mesaministries.org, hit the donate button, and here in the state of Arizona, you would get a tax credit, dollar for dollar, up to $800 for a family and $400 for a single individual. We are a qualifying tax credit organization, so we're extremely proud of that, and we have zero intentions of using any federal funds to run this ministry, because God is the leader of this ministry, and we're going to run it that way, and we could really use everyone's support.
Would there be restrictions on what we could do if we went down that path?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to do that. That's right.
That is
That's
correct.
Right. We'd like to remain, we want gospel freedom, right?
Yeah, you got it.
In Christ Greenville, we are a part of La Mesa, of course, and have funded a lot of that through the Live the Journey efforts as well. So thank you for your support.
Amen.
Also want to point out that Adam Lamb helped start La Mesa Music Ministry years ago. And so there's a picture of him. He's actually behind these cameras helping us with this lead time. Rick, it's been a joy to have you on here.
Thank you.
We can't wait to have you a fourth time in a year or two to hear what La Mesa Ministries, what God is up to there. Sharing is caring. Please think about who needs to hear this story and send this on to them. And may it bless their heart as it's hopefully blessed yours. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next Lead Time. Peace out. Enjoy the day.
Offer some hands up.
Thank you.
Share the word. Hand up, hand up.
You have been listening to Lead Time with Tim and Jake. Please subscribe at cglchurch.org/leadtime. Thanks for listening. Tune in next Monday for another episode.